What are your name and pronouns?
My name is Cam. You can call me Cameron. That is my full first name. You can also call me Blinky or BlinkyRTX. My pronouns are he, him.
How do you identify?
The trans man.
Can you tell me a bit about your VTuber model or persona?
Yeah, of course. So, this model is not mine. It's a pre-made. I've had it for like a year and a half, I would say. Currently I have a model in the works, like the reference sheet is being done. But the general idea is just a VTuber, a world VTuber, basically. That has like, the theme of green, because I love avocados. So I decided to just like mix, I'm a werewolf Athelian, so I identify as one. So I decided to like make that into the persona, basically. But I don't see it as like something that's separate from me. I see it just myself, pretty much. And so that's what happened, like, when I got into VTubing. I was just, like, thinking of, like, what to do. But the new model basically just has, like, a whole theme of, like, base pants, like, broken base pants, leather jacket, all that stuff. So it's a very, like, I would say, like, punk-X style, sort of. And then for the pre-made, I just kind of like threw stuff together, like the ears are not part of a model, the collar is not part of a model, so I just changed the colors and everything. And it is a temporary model, but that's pretty much the whole guess of what my account, the branding is, generally.
How did you ensure that your model represented you as an individual?
So I tried to stick to something simple, if that makes sense, because a lot of people don't really, like overcomplicate people that they remember, right? So I just made sure to make green the standpoint, or one of the most strongest aspects of my branding of my model. So really something that's familiar would be like maybe the ears, or just like the green theme, just a werewolf. So I just made it really simple for people to remember. And so I would just say green werewolf, essentially, because not a lot of werewolves are green. So that's also one thing that I thought about. So it's something that's unique, but not too common, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I absolutely agree. It's nice to have like a simple design and like, it's much more memorable that way. Because when you get, overcomplicated designs, then it's like, it's hard to remember like details on the character. So exactly. I respect very simple designs for sure. So what drew you to VTubing, and do you find it rewarding?
So this is the funny story. Because one of my friends, actually introduced me into VTubing, kinda, and also when I started video editing in my business, I was editing a lot for VTubers. I think my second client was Olivia Monroe, and she found me on Fiverr. Yeah, I was like, who is this? So I looked her up and I was like, huh? So, yeah, I was really confused. I was like, how the fuck did he find me? That's so weird. But I didn't know who she was. I just knew that she was a VTuber in general. So I wasn't in the community at the time, but then after her, there was a lot of VTubers after that started hiring me. And then, at the time, I was on hiatus, so I wasn't streaming for about like a year, I would say. So I took that time off to really like focus on trying out, like getting paid to do video editing. And I ended up loving it. But my friend kind of convinced me, hey, like, maybe you should go back to streaming, maybe into VTubing, it's worth a shot, because I was a Vtuber for like 5 years. So, that's basically how it started. I started last year in February, I would say, like January, February, and I started using Twitter. I find Twitter probably one of the hardest platforms to, like, build your community on, because it's super weird with the way that it works. Because YouTube is not that hard, TikTok it's pretty easy to figure out, same thing with everything else. But Twitter was just like that one platform that I never touched, because I couldn't really understand how to like utilize it right to my full potential. But after some research, I just kind of went all the way in, and I just interacted with a bunch of YouTubers, and then that's when I started building up. But yeah, that's basically it. in a way, I do find it rewarding. Absolutely. I cannot thank my community enough, and thank my moods, and thank wonderful people from Twitter. Aside from the whole
Yeah,
that one couple.
the one drama part of it.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely find it rewarding in terms of meeting amazing people, learning from so many people, being able to create wonderful friendships. And at the same time, also help my own branding, also help others grow, and also have met a lot of my clients through VTubing, and I was able to keep clients consistently, and honestly, adding in with the whole video editing thing, that also really helped me in terms of advertising that, if that makes sense. Like VTubing as an aspect is, yeah, it's a really good it's like a niche, if that makes sense. It's a really good niche. There's a lot of people when they're VTubers, they're always seeking out like graphic design, video editing, all that stuff. That's when I started to decide to I mean, I edit for anyone pretty much, but I prefer to keep it to just content creation and Twitch streamers. But I do prefer just working with VTubers because that's where I'm most familiar with at this point. So honestly, offering my services for graphic design and video editing, I was able to use that to my advantage. On the side, that's not my whole that's not my only branding, but yeah.
But still, though, it's a good thing that you have that, just as a baseline. So
yeah, absolutely.
Could you share some of the highs and lows of your journey being transgender in the VTubing space?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Does it mean professional, or do you just mean friendships? Just let me know.
Either or really, because I think when it comes to the highs and lows being transgender in the VTubing space, a lot of people have experiences that may be professional that have highs and lows, and some people have more interpersonal things that could be highs and lows. Everyone has their own experiences, whether it's professional or interpersonal. I feel like they all matter when it comes to the experience.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
I would say you're welcome. So highs, I would say that would mainly probably the first half, the first 6 months, since last year in February. I would say that was the most highest. That's when I grew followers really fast, and then throughout the summer it was pretty good. But then when it came to personal relationships and stuff like that, that really brought me down. And then since November I've been on hiatus sort of because I was just really depressed, and I could not work. I'm still trying to get back into working consistently, but yeah, my mental health just went all the way down. So that's so 4 or 5 months I haven't really been making content at all, so
there's no shame in that.
Yeah, that, and then also my family toxic, so that also doesn't help. Yeah, so I would say definitely outside factors have affected me mostly, aside from some drama. But then again, every VTuber goes through that. But then after that, you just kind of learn with what the best approach to things, because at the end of the day, yes, you can be friends with people, whatever, you can cut out whoever you want, but your branding is the branding. You don't want anything to be quote unquote unprofessional, if that makes sense. Obviously admit to your mistake, but at the same time keep it as what's the word, appropriate, I would say. And just do your best to really be cool-minded, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be yelling at somebody. I want to keep things civil, so that's what taught me a lot, especially with the VTuber community, and my own community. So I've always strived to make sure that they were safe, and I just cut off people that I just don't want to associate with. But yeah, I'm working towards getting back into content creating this summer, so I'm moving out.
Yeah, I saw some of your posts about that. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's some good news.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank God. My partner is helping me out, move out, so I cannot thank her enough. for that. I'm like so grateful. Yeah, but yep, that's been the high and low. But I'm gonna do my best to, keep it as positive as possible and just put my mental well-being, because that's also one thing that has taught me a lot throughout this. Because I just don't like it when I can't work, and that kind of really brings me down.
Are you a
Working is also-
workaholic like me?
No, literally, that's what I'm saying. It's like a drug.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic as well. Like that, it helped me a lot. Like it helped me feel like I'm in control, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, no,
helped me-
absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, we're neurodivergent. Like,
Yeah. Well, I didn't even call out on it.
I already know. I snipped it out.
Tessa did the same thing to me, I swear. You're like, yeah, you're neurodivergent, aren't you? You're neurospicy, huh? And I'm like, maybe.
But yeah, like it, VTubing also gave me the opportunity to stick to a routine, and I'm gonna keep at it as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The highs, I would say, interact with my content, with my community, creating content in general, helping people how to video edit, like giving them tips here and there, and definitely streaming, for sure. So these were my high points.
Has VTubing helped you discover more about yourself, would you say?
I wouldn't say that much, but it definitely, like, made me realize that I really like sticking to a routine, right? And definitely made me realize a lot about what to do for the future, if that makes sense. For video editing and stuff like that, it really made me capitalize. I don't know if that's the right word.
Gave you a
capitalize
direction.
And my business, deciding what to do, like which client to pick and stuff like that. So I would say in that viewpoint, definitely a lot. As for identity, not a lot changed. I think now that I'm working on a new model, that sort of like made me think about what would I wear, in general. Like I didn't want the new model to just be a cute like green werewolf. Obviously I want to put all of, aspects into it. Like for example, he has a hoverboard, right? I love hoverboards. So I wanted to incorporate that. Yeah. I wanted to incorporate like chains, and the werewolf form as well, which is really sick. So I'm super excited, and I just wanted to like be transparent, right? And that's also one thing that people love in general, just being honest and transparent. I want to be even more transparent, open up a little bit, use my experiences to help people out and stuff. I think honestly though, like ever since I started video editing, that was like the one point that made me realize like I can be successful, if that makes sense. Like it gave me hope, because yeah, it's like so common. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone had gone through that. But like I've always struggled with giving up too easily, because I was not motivated at all. Like anything I did wasn't enough for my dad, basically. And yeah, so that kind of sucked. So I never really put my all into anything, like for college. I just didn't give a shit. Like the school, well, obviously I did care, but it's
different.
It didn't make me happy. Yeah, I'm just.
It's like putting your.
Yeah, go on.
It's like putting your all into something, but it doesn't really matter or feel the same as if you're to put your all into something that you actually, cared about and enjoyed,
Exactly, yeah. And, I guess the hardest thing that I'm still trying to come to terms to is to be okay with being different, in terms of like not getting like a traditional career through college, right? Something that's self-made and, making a business. And that's been really, really, really difficult living with my family, and I had to like really push myself. But yeah, definitely that. It had made me more resilient. So, yeah. And I moved out last year for like 3 months.
It was a pretty good feeling, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I had to do that on a whim, because, cops and stuff like that, and I just left. But during that time, I was video editing like not every single day, but almost every single day, and just streaming, and it just made me feel a lot more resilient, knowing how to take care of myself. Kind of like forced me, like swallowing pills. Like I couldn't swallow pills, and it just made me like learn, like, and being there for me, like not depending on others or depending on in a safe place that's not really safe, right, or what's comfortable. Yeah, so definitely becoming more daring, doing your best.
Seems to be a lot of positive things then, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At least makes me always so happy to hear, because there's a lot of negativity in the VTubing community recently, and it's nice to see some positivity, and I guess that's kind of where I'm going with this project, is like, I want to show the positive side that VTubing brings to others.
Oh, 100%. I think the VTuber community needs more positivity, because every single time, this entire time for 4 months, me taking a break, every time I go on Twitter,
it's like negative.
No, literally, new drama, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm out. Like, I literally don't scroll. I just go online, post something inspirational to at least like help people feel better. That's what I do at the moment, But yeah, it desperately needs to change. But then again, one person can't do that. It has to be everybody, the whole, or at least like a big.
You've got to make a big push to make it positive.
Exactly, yeah, it's not just one person, unfortunately.
What would you say to somebody who was looking at VTubing as an option to being their truest self in content creation?
I would say it's a good option. However, it depends on the person, like, in terms of if you're getting into content creation for the first time, right? Because I would definitely tell that. I would definitely tell them, just to, like, summarize it a bit, to take it slow, like really take it slow, because I feel like VTubing can be really overwhelming, especially when it comes to Twitter. But there are gonna be hundreds of people, right? Advertising, making tweets, all that stuff. So yeah, so definitely take it slow if you are completely new to content creation, like you have no idea, like you never posted online or whatever. Definitely take it easy. Just remember, just, be yourself. And also, it's a wonderful opportunity as well for people who don't like showing themselves on camera, or even if you do, you can still be a character that you want to be. Like, if that feels right to you, go for it. If that's the best way to really, express yourself, right? And it goes for trans people as well. It goes for non-binary folks. It goes for, aliens or otherkin and stuff like that. So it goes for anyone really. But, for some people, it might mean a lot to them, right? So definitely a wonderful opportunity. You can be anything you want in any way, really. And I think that's the beauty of it. Like, there's total freedom to create a model that you really like, right? And don't be afraid to try something new. If you love something that much, take it slow. Definitely plan ahead of time. You do not want to rush anything. And I think the biggest lesson I've had, like, throughout, I've been creating content for over 10 years now, 11. So my biggest takeaway from all of these years, that people will support you. They will be there no matter how long you've been gone. Like, yeah, they might take a bit to get back from there, but definitely people will be there. Don't be afraid of, quote unquote, being behind. And that's one of my biggest fears too. I really don't like not being able to keep up with the times, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's kind of a big fear of a lot of content creators, so I really do understand that.
Oh yeah. And some people force themselves to be online just for the sake of getting followers or, growing their branding. Trust me, it is not worth it. It's not worth your mental well-being, your physical well-being. Yeah, no, put yourself first and then, work on the branding. But I would say, don't keep your expectations too high, especially if you're going into VTubing. Just realize people on Twitter probably spend time on Twitter way too much. Don't take anything personally, pretty much. Like, don't take it personally. Work on yourself. Don't put energy into people that don't want to support you. Haters, they just want a reaction. They want that fire, that spark. They got a match. They're waiting for the fire. Don't give it to them. Yeah, just surround yourself with people. Definitely be watchful of people. Like, not too wary, but people with good intentions. Trust your gut. That 100%. Trust your gut, especially when you are, starting content creation and VTubing. And I think one other thing about being their truest self. Be honest. It's really just being honest. Don't be afraid to share your story. Because at the end of the day, that's what brings people together. Literally just sharing your story, relating to that. Even if it's like real life problems, like, I don't know, identity crisis, family problems, whatever. People love it when people are honest as fuck. Like, I'm talking about real. Like, not just VTubing in general. Like, you don't necessarily have to be just branding as a VTuber. Again, it depends on the person, but I have found, like, at least for me, just being honest, talking about my story, using that to help other people. I love that, and I've had wonderful, like, I think that's what really connects community-wise. Some people find that cringe, like, oh my god, you're saying, oh, I love you.
Yeah, well, they're cringe for thinking that.
No, literally, like, it's not cringe at all. Like, that's literally what glues a community together. A shit ton of people like you, they like your vibe, they like your personality, they like what you share. But at the end of the day, you make them feel good. So, definitely just be honest, open, trust people that are nice to you, that do things instead of just saying, oh, I'm here for you. Like, they're not really there for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And people can tell when you're fake, People can see right through that. So there really is no point to be fake. Be honest,
Yeah. And then I think another thing is whether your model is a character that's separate from you or yourself. Because some people do acts in the VTuber space, so that's totally fine. Just, don't force yourself to be someone else. Just be yourself, like, completely. One more thing I would say that the VTuber community in general is really good for, minority groups, and definitely, like, empowering these voices, cause I'm disabled, I can't hear shit. So, like, being disabled and trans, it allows people a safe space, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people probably don't have somebody in real life to talk to, right, about their problems. And the internet is a wonderful thing for that. You will meet people everywhere who probably relate to you in your situation. And that's wonderful. So I try to use my platform to help people, inspire them, give them tips on how to make their stream more accessible, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's one amazing thing about the VTuber community. Like, yeah, I get that, that can work for other communities, absolutely. But, I've done Overwatch and Dead by Daylight streaming in general for a couple of years, but I've found the VTubing space to be a lot more genuine. As ironic as that sounds. It's true though, like, because here's the thing, you're seeing a model, right? You're not seeing the person behind it. And I think
that means you're kind of seeing their inner self.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know, opening an avocado or something. And like, because here's the thing though, like, if you're not really showing yourself, people, yeah, they're looking at a model, but like, at the end of the day, not just the model, you can't just use the model essentially to capture people's attention, all that stuff, like the videos, the streaming. At the end of the day, it's you as a person that's going to capture people's attention, right? Because you can't just rely on art, you can't rely, there has to be a person behind it, a voice, right? Personality, whatever it is. And there's always certain traits in everybody that will draw the right like audience towards you, right? So, for example, people who are more quiet on stream, they get nervous about being quiet because, quote unquote, it's not the norm, and people think you have to be loud to be a streamer, which is not true at all.
Yeah, you can have like some quiet people, you can have chill people, some people are just goofy. Everyone's different.
Exactly. Everyone has their own needs, you know, and that's not just doing podcasting, that's not just gaming. You can also have your own needs in terms of like, you know, taking advantage of something that you're good at, you know, cracking jokes, whatever it is, and then turning that into entertainment, essentially, or education, or whatever like that. So definitely that as well. Like, I really, if you are disabled, if you're part of a minority group, if you're Cuban, let me know, because I need Cuban friends. Yeah. No, literally, it's so underrepresented is actually fucking insane. Like, I've only seen like 3 so far.
I think it's just because it's just such a diverse community. It's like, how can you like not accept, you know, minorities in such a diverse community, you know?
Right? Because like, you don't know how the person looks. Even though like some people might, like for example, you know, black people in general, right? They might make their skin, you know, dark skinned, right? But some of them choose to be white skinned, you know, if they're comfortable with that. You know, if they're not being forced to, of course. Just something that you like. That's an example. Like, you don't know what heritage, you know, they associate with. You don't know where they're from. Yeah, but that's the beauty of it, really. It forces you to talk to them, if that makes sense. Get to know them. Get to know their stories. And I think that's the beautiful part of it, because I was bullied when I was younger, my speech impediment, which is god-awful.
Hey, I mean, I've had the same thing happen to me, so it's okay.
They can fuck them too.
Yeah, you fuck them. They can shove their head up their own asses.
Exactly, yeah. But a lot of people judge by my voice, really. Sometimes, no, not my looks, but it was just mainly my voice. But I didn't show myself like all the time. But like back then, I didn't give a shit. Like, I still made videos, and that's why I tried to like remind myself, like, why did I start content creation in general? It's just because I love it, you know, I have passion for it. And I did care, you don't really care about anything, you just care about doing what's fun. And I tried to keep that mindset, right? But yeah, basically, it just forces you to get to know somebody. And there's always a new surprise, pretty much. There's always something that everyone can learn from, like, something to know. Yeah, like, don't be afraid to add as many things as you want. Obviously, you don't have to like make it so cluttered, but make a design as you want. I would say simple enough for people to remember you. So, for example, kanji, I think of monkeys because it, you know, branding has monkeys. Fire because, you know, its clothes literally have like a fire emblem. Yeah, so usually like, some people remember branding by like 1 or 2 things at least. So you want to keep your branding simple like that, but you can go crazy on your design. Just make sure like the baseline, for example, if you're gonna go with a cat and then maybe a color, or an animal and then like a fruit or a food or whatever, and then you can mix both of these things. Or if you want to like include heritage in general, or like where you're from and stuff like that, you can probably like simplify that and then use the colors from your flags. That's also another idea. So yeah,